Steely Dan. Steely Dan is arguably one of the most loathsome enemies Jotaro and his group face. He's not the strongest or the most intimidating stand user, but he's without a doubt one of the most infuriating. His stand, Lovers, is microscopic and attacks its victims from the inside, entering their brains and controlling their nervous systems. What makes Steely Dan truly detestable isn't just his stand, it's how he uses it. After implanting Lovers into Joseph Joestar's brain, Steely Dan forces Jotaro to become his servant, humiliating him in every way possible. He makes Jotaro shine his shoes, carry his luggage, and even let strangers watch as he mocks him publicly. The sheer arrogance and smugness with which he torments Jotaro makes every scene painful to watch. Fans couldn't wait for the moment when Jotaro would finally snap, and when he did, it was glorious. The legendary beatdown was cathartic, not just for Jotaro, but for the entire audience. Steely Dan's downfall is one of the most satisfying moments in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, precisely because he's such a slimy, manipulative, cowardly piece of work. 2. Forever is another villain who stands out not because he's a mastermind, but because he's just plain despicable. He's the orangutan stand user whose stand strength manifests as an entire ship. While that alone would make him an interesting opponent, what makes Forever hated is his disgusting behavior throughout his appearance. Forever is perverse, cruel, and disturbingly intelligent for an animal. His interactions with Anne, the young girl traveling with the Crusaders, cross into deeply uncomfortable territory, as he's shown leering at her and behaving inappropriately. The fact that this comes from a chimpanzee only adds to the twisted unease of his scenes. He toys with the group, killing sailors and creating a nightmarish illusion aboard the ship, showing just how malicious he can be despite his non-human nature. His arrogance and creepy demeanor make his demise, when Jotaro crushes him with a steel container, deeply satisfying. Forever isn't just hated because he's a villain, he's hated because he embodies every disgusting trait possible. Number 3. Alessi. Alessi be the most universally despised villain in Stardust Crusaders, not for his power, but for his sheer moral depravity. His stand, set, allows him to revert people to younger versions of themselves when they're in its shadow. This could have been used in creative or strategic ways, but instead, Alessi uses it for pure cruelty. When he uses Set on Polnareff, he gleefully torments him while he's reduced to a helpless child. What makes Alessi even worse is his attitude. He sings to himself, mocks his victims, and treats the whole ordeal like a twisted game. His sadistic glee, especially when he tries to harm a young boy and attack women, is sickening. His downfall is as poetic as it is deserved. Once Polnareff regains his strength, he turns the tables on Alessi, delivering one of the most satisfying revenge moments in the series. Alessi's cowardice and twisted sense of humor make him one of the most universally hated characters in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure history. Before, Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice is terrifying, loyal, and utterly soulless. As Dio's most devoted servant, his actions push him far beyond ordinary villainy. His stand, Cream, creates a void that erases anything it touches, an ability both terrifying and symbolic of his personality. Vanilla Ice's hatred and blind devotion to Dio make him one of the cruelest foes the Crusaders face. What truly cements Vanilla Ice's place on this list is his brutal murder of Iggy and Avdol. The way he kills Avdol instantly without giving him a chance to fight back, and later crushes Iggy in a cruel, drawn-out scene, still haunts fans. His complete lack of remorse, combined with his obsessive loyalty to Dio, makes him not just a villain, but a monster. Even in defeat, Vanilla Ice's cruelty continues. He transforms into a vampire to continue serving Dio, showing that he values Dio's approval more than his humanity. His death at Polnareff's hands feels like justice finally served for his merciless acts. Vanilla Ice is one of those villains whose presence makes you feel uneasy every second he's on screen. Dio Brando. Dio Brando is the grand architect of Stardust Crusaders, the evil force behind everything. While some fans love Dio for his charisma, others despise him for the sheer chaos and suffering he causes. From the very beginning, Dio's defining traits are arrogance, manipulation, and a complete lack of empathy. By the time of Stardust Crusaders, Dio has transcended humanity entirely, becoming a vampiric demigod with his stand, which allows him to stop time. His power makes him nearly unstoppable, but it's his personality that truly earns the hatred of many fans. Dio treats everyone around him as pawns, manipulating and corrupting countless souls to serve his will. He controls others' bodies, destroys families, and spreads evil across generations. His influence is so malevolent that it affects even people who've never met him directly. Dio's cruel experiments, sadistic enjoyment of others' pain, and god complex make him one of the most infamously hated figures in all of anime. Even his iconic charm and memorable quotes don't redeem the sheer wickedness of his character. Number 6. Hol Horse. Hol Horse isn't the most evil villain in Stardust Crusaders, but he's definitely one of the most frustrating. He's a coward, a show-off, and an opportunist who always talks big but runs at the first sign of trouble. His stand, Emperor, manifests as a gun that fires bullets he can control, which should make him dangerous. But Hol Horse's incompetence and arrogance constantly get in his own way. What makes Hol Horse hated isn't his power, it's his personality. He constantly betrays his partners, like Geil, refuses to take responsibility for his failures, and hides behind bravado. He believes he's destined to be number 2 under Dio, admitting he's too scared to ever be the real boss. He's a coward wrapped in swagger, a man who wants the rewards of villainy without the risk. Despite his comic relief moments, Hol Horse's sleazy charm and repeated cowardice make him one of those characters fans love to hate. He's the embodiment of misplaced confidence and selfish ambition, and every time his schemes backfire, it's pure poetic justice. 7. Arabia Fats. Arabia Fats is one of the more obscure villains in Stardust Crusaders, but his brief appearance is enough to earn him a spot on this list. His stand sun is literally a miniature sun that emits intense heat and light capable of frying his opponents alive. The battle against him is memorable not for its intensity, but for its absurdity, and for how cowardly Arabia Fats turns out to be. He hides far away from the Crusaders during the fight, letting his stand do all the work while he relaxes under an air-conditioned tent, smugly laughing to himself. His cowardice is revealed in hilarious fashion when the Crusaders discover his hiding spot and take him out instantly. Arabia Fats is hated not for cruelty, but for how pathetically lazy and arrogant he is. He had a deadly stand that could have been a real threat, but instead, he chose to rely entirely on tricks and cowardice. His quick defeat is both funny and satisfying, another case of a villain who gets exactly what he deserves. 8. Geil. If there's one villain who encapsulates the darkest, most disturbing side of Stardust Crusaders, it's Geil. As the murderer of Polnareff's sister, his crimes are personal and deeply evil. His stand, Hanged Man, can move through mirrors and reflections, making him one of the most unique stand users, but also one of the most sadistic. Geil's appearance alone, his grotesque double right hands and deranged grin, reflects his twisted nature. He takes pride in causing pain and humiliation, and he enjoys watching others suffer. His partnership with Hol Horse is toxic, with Geil treating even his ally with contempt. What makes him universally hated, though, is how vile his actions are. Killing and Polnareff's sister purely for pleasure makes him one of the most morally repulsive characters in the entire JoJo franchise. His death at Polnareff's hands is not only justice, it's catharsis. Watching Polnareff finally avenge his sister is one of the most emotionally satisfying moments in Stardust Crusaders.